Eric, I know you commented on some of these films.
Yeah.
Like I want to roll back. Little Mermaid. Let's start with there. We'll work our way up. Your thoughts on that movie? Because Disney, of course, was trying to represent you.
Yeah,
What they said.
I'm the
right?
one person that, because she specifically, the lead actress specifically mentioned folks like myself, the black and brown boys and girls that for some reason need to be represented, but they only, of course, can be represented by their by their race. So it's been an epic and a massive failure that I think pretty much everybody here saw coming, because there's no true genuine intrigue. I think they wanted to, and they attempted to speak this into absolute existence, but I think what folks, I'm not saying that we're losing sight of, but the amount of money that they're going to lose on this is significant. And Hollywood right now is gonna, between all of these protests or rather shutdowns and all that, between the stupid unions and everything it is they got going on, they're going to have to adjust economically. And Little Mermaid, to me, is one of the prime examples of that, because they spend all this money. Elementals is even a better one, because they spent all of this money. Nobody knows exactly where the hell that money is going to, because it's not like you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's a $200 million film. When you see Elementals, like, I don't know where the money could have possibly went, other than, again, just really peeing it away or whatever it is that they're doing. So
Eric, do you know how much money it costs to make a CGI non-binary person? It's a water elemental thing.
Apparently, $200 million.
Literally a gender fluid. That's.
I got a serious question though, Eric. When you wake up in the morning, do you feel like putting on a mermaid tail now and swimming in the ocean?
Yeah.
Where's my Aquafina song mixtape, and just go to town?
Yeah, man, that's certainly anybody.
Don't make me play that again.
Don't make me.
Please don't. Please don't.
I want to be a fish, though. That's what the black and brown.
I think Kanye already did that in South Park, though. So I don't know why we're going here again.
That's very true, actually. So,
actually, all right. So we need to queue up Gay Fish from South Park and get.
Would you like some fish?
What are you, gay fish? Here we go.
PG-13 out the window.
Now, if you have not seen Trey and Matt do the live performance at the Red Rocks of Gay Fish, you're missing out. It's great.
I bet it's
that sounds glorious.
It's on YouTube.
I remember when that episode aired.
Yeah.
That is a classic.
That's kind of always been one of the obsessions, it seems like, for the last couple of years. Hollywood, it's all about now visual representation.
Yeah.
Everything is about skin color. Everything is about this. It's like and especially with existing IPs like The Little Mermaid that have already been incredibly well established for, nearly 35 years at this point.
Yep.
A character that visually is instantly recognizable what Ariel looks like, especially even with the bright red hair, right? It's one of the most popular Disney princesses they've ever had, up until Elsa came along with Frozen, I think it was, her and Belle. But Lorena has been on here before, talked about it. It's saying that, she doesn't like getting hand-me-down characters as a black woman. And that's, she feels like, hey, well, you want to make that. Look, where's Princess Tiana? Where's Princess and the Frog? And it's like, and they don't understand. You take a character that's visually recognizable like Ariel, and you just throw a different person into that doesn't look like it. It seems like you're really just kind of like killing the commercial viability. It's not as recognizable, I think. They're one of the reasons that Super Mario Brothers is really popular, because it looks exactly like you would expect Super Mario Brothers to look like. And I think the same is true for other IPs. Look at Barbie coming out in just a few weeks. I mean, the trailer drops for that. They don't even have to tell you what that movie is. You immediately look at that and go, that's Barbie. That's totally Barbie.
Well, they also tried. They tried that with Barbie. What was it? 2 years ago, when they tried to introduce all the different Barbie dolls. Like they had the wheelchair Barbie.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
All that stuff, and it looks like they didn't.
Well, the packaging was very expensive. That cut down on the wheelchairs.
Yeah, I feel bad for wheelchair Skipper, because she could never skip again. That's just horrible.
Eric, when you see all this stuff, I mean, kind of just what is your gut reaction when you see this for the first time? Like the first time you saw the trailer for The Little Mermaid, or what? I mean, what is your response?
Well, it's par for the course for what you're seeing right now with Hollywood, because that's all that they feel like that matters, is this concept of representation. But even if we conceded the idea of representation as a meaningful or impactful thing, the problem is that they only tie it to race or gender or sexuality, like these very superficial things, instead of your integrity, your life experience, or what is truth, or what is false, what is just, what is righteous. They don't look at those concepts and entertain representation, because I mean, even the actress shoots herself in the foot because she goes on talking about how, you know, she loved the Little Mermaid and all this, and then at the other side of her mouth, she's going to say that, well, now people need to be represented. It's like, you didn't have any problem connecting with Ariel back in the gap, so why on earth would we need to tie everything to this superficial thing such as a race or gender again, or sexuality? It's complete nonsense. And look, it's a gaslight, because these are visual mediums. I think that is so very important. It's the same thing that happens in the comics. So when it goes to animation or a comic, or we have a visual idea of who we think these characters are supposed to be. It is a completely realistic expectation for someone to say, this character is crossing over in maybe a live action sense. I want to, that character needs to be recognizable. It needs to be identifiable. I need to know who it is that they are. But Hollywood has opted to go the complete opposite route, because they're making things to try to impress their peers and whatever. And I guess virtue signal and pat themselves on the back, like, look at me, I'm doing such a good thing. When really all you're doing is pushing people out of it. I mean, you can't put butts in the seats. You're pushing away core audiences, core fans, and people are now starting to see through it as a gimmick, because it's not even genuine what it is that you're trying to portray or present. So, you know, like I said, limiting things to your color particularly is something that is, I think anybody should find offensive, because there's more to you as an individual than that. That should be the least interesting thing about you. I couldn't control this, right? I can, mother and father happen to be a certain color. I came out this race that I didn't work for it, right? It's something that I didn't earn. And to limit people to that is just something that is so nonsensical. But Hollywood, you know, they're showing how they are really disconnected with their audiences as they continue to do this.
It's when you look at the comic books, as you were saying, or even Hollywood in general, just take superheroes. It's like they forgot the ability to look at what makes a hero and what makes a villain. It's the traits and it's the journey. Those are the relatable, actual, factual things to any person who watches the show or reads a book. You are watching what they teach you as a role model and as a villain, and that's where you make your choices through life based off those people that are inspirationals, whether they're your favorite hero, their favorite dancer, whatever it is. And you apply that to yourself. That is relatability. It's not the billboard that they call your skin color or your gender.
Yep.
Well, you know, that's what I keep wondering. And I think, Eric, you kind of made the point already. But to me, for years, I've observed this keep going down this slippery slope where this entire cabal in Hollywood seems to think that the rest of the country, particularly people of certain skin colors, I guess, are so shallow, or they're so bigoted, or maybe it's a combination of both, that they think that that's all that matters to them, right? The only thing they can identify with is, well, that person's skin color looks like mine. And I've made the joke here on my show a million times. You probably haven't heard this one before, but to this day, it's like my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie is Jackie Brown. I have nothing in common with a 40-year-old black woman named Pam Grier. I mean, it's just like, you know, but I mean, in terms of skin color, appearance, gender, whatever else, but I get her character. I understand it. And I loved it. I've never once thought it's like, well, why couldn't they have made her white? You know, it's like, wait, I don't get the thought process that goes behind this, but I think what people have gotten very sensitive to is when Hollywood takes a character that's already well established, that already is something, and then just let's do a cheap swap here and just act like, at this point, nobody's going to notice that we know what you're doing. We know it's a cheap virtue signal. I think that's what turns people off. It's not that Ariel is played by a black actress now. It's the fact that we know why Disney did it.
Yeah.
You know, and that to me is what kind of just makes it an issue for me. And I think a lot of others, I'm guessing. So,
yeah, for sure. No, like that's the issue with it all. I mean, it is a cheap virtue signaling. And I guess maybe it is, to your point, they assume that everybody else, they're as shallow as they are, right? And as you know, nothing interesting about them, and they lead with this sort of stuff. Unfortunately, we kind of birth a new generation of weirdos who lead with that stuff. They lead with sexuality. Like that should be the least interesting. If that is your entire personality, you're a very boring person. And I don't feel like most individuals, and I think that's why they're hurting so much every time they do that. Most individuals care about that stuff. It may be attractive among your peers or certain pockets of social media that, again, where they lead with the virtue signaling stuff. But for just regular people, I don't think that they had a problem with Ariel being white. Nobody had an issue with a character based on a Danish fairy tale, which again, it doesn't get much whiter than that. So it's especially silly that they would change race swap Ariel of all people, or the Little Mermaid. It's cheap, it's corny, and I thank them, if nothing else, definitely as Marvel and DC does this stuff, I thank them, if nothing else, for turning folks off and opening the door, right, in the market, right, where people are now saying, you know what, people don't want that. They want authenticity. Let's give it to them. And now you're seeing successful smaller folk. It reminds me a lot of what happened with Blockbuster getting way too cocky back in the Gap, had an opportunity to get Netflix, didn't adjust their model, and of course it opened the way for the alternatives. And I think that's what we're seeing in the comic book industry. We're even seeing that kind of in film industry, and because people are able to shoot, I mean, things with their DSLR and shoot short films and all kinds of cool stuff. And that demand, it was their market to lose. So that's on them. Now it's on us as creatives to see if we can capture that part of it. And to be fair, it's going to come with its level of uncertainty as the entertainment industries try to adjust to that. You know, definitely after they've taken all these L's economically, Disney losing billions of dollars, like it seems like they just continue to lose money right now. So the market is going to have to adjust. They're going to have to adjust, and it comes with its level of uncertainty, and a status quo might be changed, and I'm perfectly fine with that.